Now, I want to introduce our speaker of the hour, and I will sit down and be quiet. She's a decorated athlete. She's been a champion, the high school level, college level, pro level, 3-time gold medalist, looking to get a 4th. She is an amazing, through her Catch the Stars Foundation, doing some amazing work in the community of Indianapolis. And just found out, she is now a New York Times best-selling author. Yeah. So for you table hosts, this is your gift on your table, just for us to say thank you for being a table host. So let's welcome Tamika Catchings.
Tamika. There's a video. I'm 3 years old, and I'm sitting in the sand on a playground. My back is to my dad, and he's saying, Tamika. I don't hear him. So he thinks one of two things. Either one, I'm ignoring him. Nah. Or two, I can't hear him. I have an older brother, we have a middle sister, and then there's me. A few months before this day, they had just gone through a whole bunch of testing with my brother and found out that he had a hearing problem. So now, fast forward to this day on the playground, building my sandcastle. And now we're about to go through the same testing to see if I have a hearing problem. So I was 3 years old when they found out that I had a moderate to severe hearing loss. And right off the bat, my parents, being the great parents that they are, were more concerned about my future. Were more concerned about all the things that I would have to face for the rest of my life. My father played in the NBA, played for 11 years for the Milwaukee Bucks, New Jersey Nets, Philadelphia 76ers, and the Los Angeles Clippers. I gotta use my hands. I'm like, what is it? I only played for one. We joke around about that a lot. But we moved around a lot. We moved from Jersey to Milwaukee. He played for the Clippers. And his last year, after he finished, we moved over to Italy for 1 year. I talk about it in my book, but that was my last year of freedom. That was the last year that I realized I'm different. We moved back, and we moved down to Abilene, Texas. I know there's very few people that know where that's at. But we lived in Abilene for 1 year. For 1 year. And in that 1 year, I realized that I was different than everybody else. I got made fun of every single day for the way that I talked, for the hearing aids that I had to wear. They were the big ones that go behind the ears. Everybody sees them. And just for being different, from coming from a foreign land, Italy, that none of the kids had ever heard of. So every single day, I would go to school and I would get made fun of. I would come home after school, tears streaming down my face, run through the door, slam the door, and tell my mom, or ask my mom, please don't make me go back. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll wash dishes, I'll fold clothes, I'll do whatever. Just don't make me go back. And every single day, my mom would wipe my tears away. And she would say, honey, I can't let you give up. Every single day. And see, our routine, we would go to school, we would come home, we would have snacks. Gotta have snacks. And then we would go and do whatever sport we would do. My first sport was soccer. Tyra, my second sport was softball. And then I started playing basketball in 3rd grade. But this is 2nd grade. And so every single day, I'm crying. And every single day, I'm dreading going to school. Because every single day, they would remind me that I was different. And all I wanted to do was to fit in and be normal, like everybody else. So I remember this one day, it was gonna be the last day that I got made fun of. I just knew it. And I went to school, and I got made fun of, and I got teased, and the tears started to come. But as we were walking home from school, my brother and my sister were in front of me, and every day we'd have to walk by a tall field of grass. So this one day, I took those hearing aids, and I put them in my hand. And as we walked by that field on the way home, I threw them as far as I possibly could. And so we got home, we had our snack, and we went to softball practice. And I played catcher, and I played left field. Technically, that was my position. But for whatever reason, I was making catches in right field and center field. So I was a little bit everywhere. And I was fast. I got it. But that was me. And after this day, my mom, she's looking at me. She said, there's just something different about you. I don't know. And she's looking, and she says, young lady, where are your hearing aids? I said, I don't know. I don't know. They must have fallen out. So we get out of the car, and we walk right field, center field, left field. We go all around the bases, because I was a tomboy too. So everything I did, I had to make it look good. Even if I was like, not on offense, we're not playing basketball. But if I was sliding into a base, even if I was gonna be safe, I would slide just because, we just have to slide. So we were lifting up bases, looking underneath, went catcher, looking everywhere, we don't find them. So then we go home. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna go in the house. No, we're gonna walk to school, and we're gonna walk back. And we're gonna find these hearing aids. So we walked to school, and we walked back, and guess what? We didn't find them. So we walked back to school, and we walked back home, and guess what? We still didn't find them. So my mom sits me down, and she says, look, hearing aids are too expensive. For every single time you don't feel like putting your hearing aids on, for us to continue to keep buying you hearing aids. So you're just gonna have to learn how to live without those hearing aids. And I said, so that's the beginning of my life. I need everybody to do something really fast, okay? We're all athletes, right? Some people are like, no, I'm not, don't pick me. No, I'm not. Well, today you're an athlete, because we're here for Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So on the count of 3, this is what I need you to do. And I will even count slow to give you guys a break. On the count of 3, I need you guys, if you can, to stand up, okay? It's gonna be really fast. But please don't knock anybody over. Stand straight up, all right? So we're gonna try this. Ready? 1, 2. Some of y'all are cheating now. That's what happens, athletes. And some of the non-athletes start edging up because they want to outbeat the athletes. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're gonna try it again. Everybody stand, sit down. So here's the deal. Because I'm the referee, I get to make the rules. So I'm gonna do it again, and it's gotta be like 1, 2, 3, bam! Up, boom, boom, okay? Up, down, ready? 1, 2, 3, boom! Love it, okay. Stay up, we're not done. I'm the ref. You gotta listen to me, okay. So every time I speak, I always like to have a message, right? Because it's easier for you to remember messages rather than, oh yeah, Tamika came and spoke, and what did she talk about? Oh, I don't know. A lot of stuff. So we're going to talk today about what it takes to be a champion, okay? So on the count of 3, you're going to say, I am a champion. Where my champions at? There they go. I had my little group. So we're going to say, I am a champion. You got to give me a little woo-woo. All right? We're all doing it, so nobody should be embarrassed. Okay? Now, if you go somewhere else and do it, you're on your own. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I am a champion.
You didn't do it. You didn't do it. And yeah, and one thing I forgot to tell you guys, I read lips. So I can tell if you don't do it, all right? Maybe not in the back, but definitely in the front. Okay? We're gonna try it one more time. 1, 2, 3.
I am a champion.
Woo! All right, sit down. Now I feel at home. Okay. So we're gonna talk about what it takes to be a champion for Christ. I got a little bit of time, son. I got a lot to say, so you gotta keep up with me. I was thinking, we obviously just got done with the Final Four, and right after the Final Four comes the NBA Finals for about 3 months now, and then we start, right? Actually, we start next week, start training camp. But I started thinking about, okay, if we're talking about what it takes to be a champion, what are some things that help us be champion? Thank God I've been able to be a champion on a lot of levels, so I'm gonna take you guys through a couple of them, not all of them. We'll be here for a while. So I thought of 4 different things. The first one, focus on a goal. That's pretty obvious, right? The first question we get, we have media day every single year. First question we get, so, is this the year to be a champion? 2001, is this the year to be a champion? 2002, is this the year to be a champion? 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, don't. Is this your year? Well, of course. Who goes into a season like, no, we're not going to be good. We're just going to play another time and hope that we just come out on top? Of course. That's the goal. I was in 7th grade when I made my first goal. My first goal was to be in the NBA. I was going to follow in my dad's footsteps. I was going to be just like him. And I remember writing it on a piece of paper, play in the NBA. And I ran downstairs and said, Mom, Dad, I figured out what I want to be when I grow up. And I pulled out a little piece of paper and I put it down and I said, I'm going to be in the NBA like Dad. And my mom and dad looked at me and they said, if anybody can do it, you can. And there's a little girl, 7th grade, with a mind, an imagination beyond this world. That was the way that I was able to communicate. Because see, after my 2nd grade year, after I threw those hearing aids out, we moved. And when we moved, nobody knew that I wore hearing aids. But you know what they did know? As I played sports, and I still had a speech problem. So I didn't talk to anybody. My way of communicating was through sports. But when I finally came to my goal and I looked at the road that it got me to my 7th grade, another thing that I had to do was I had to figure out how to survive. How was I going to survive without my hearing aids? How was I going to survive without hearing? So I did 3 things. I would sit in the front row in every single one of my classes. Now they have syllabus for each class. But before that, I would read chapters in the textbook. I would read chapter after chapter. The teacher has to cover something that I read. Something. I just had to be prepared, a little bit over-prepared, but it's fine. And the third thing, after class, I would go and I would talk to my teachers. Because I can read lips, right? And as long as the teacher was facing me, I'm good. But there's a thing called chalkboard that you have to turn around and write on. So my page would have word blank, word blank. So I had to go and fill in the blanks after class. So they call me teacher's pet. That's fine. Some things you just have to live with. So that's how I survived. And when I figured out what I wanted in 7th grade, and I figured out all the things that I had to do to get me to that point, my goal, I could do this. And my parents, they gave me the confidence to believe in myself. So that was 7th grade. But I knew, okay, I can't go straight to the MBA. I gotta work on my skills a little bit. I gotta refine myself. But I also had to have little goals. I had to have little things that I had to accomplish. And I know we have a lot of student athletes in the room. It's great to have an ultimate goal. It's great to have something to shoot for. But you also gotta know that the road to get there, there's gotta be little goals, little things you have to accomplish. So my ultimate goal was to be in the NBA, but before that, I wanted to go to high school, and I wanted to make the varsity basketball team. I didn't want to just make the team, though. My goal, I want to play. If I'm going to be on the team, I might as well play. I want to sit on the bench. So every single day, literally every day, I would wake up. This is during school year. I would wake up, watch basketball while I was eating breakfast, go to school, come home, do my snack, whatever sport we were in, we'd go to practice, and we'd come back. And then I would go play basketball. And I'd be outside dribbling my ball, shooting shots with my imaginary basket. All of that. Because one day I was going to be where? NBA. One day I was going to be where? NBA. In the NBA. And did you think I could do it? Yes. That's right. Well, we fast forward a little bit, a lot, actually. And we get to my junior year, 8th grade, 7th grade, so 8th grade, first time I saw Pat Summitt. And I said, gosh, that lady right there is absolutely amazing. I would love the opportunity to play for her. And so we worked, and we worked, and we worked. Freshman year, made the varsity team, got to play with my sister, great, work. And then my sophomore year is when it happened. I got a letter in the mail, and it was an orange letter. And it was from one of the assistant coaches, but I didn't care. Pat saw me. So I had the opportunity to go to the University of Tennessee. And freshman year, the WNBA started. Talk about focusing on a goal. No longer that I want to be in the NBA, because you know what? The WNBA is even better than the NBA. Yeah. So we talk about focusing on a goal. The second thing, have a leader, influencer on your team. I think Troy summed that up great. The coaches that you looked at, positive influence. One thing about Pat that I love, and everybody always talks about everything. Oh, how was it playing for Pat? Oh my gosh, tell us stories. The thing about her, she didn't want us to just be great on the court or just be great in the classroom. But she wanted us to be great in the community and overall, just great people. And right now, she's fighting a battle with Alzheimer's. But when we first found out she had it, and she called, she said, Catch, I got some news I gotta tell you. And I was like, you know, she gave me her spill, but we're gonna fight it, we're gonna get through. And I'm like, what is it, Pat, what is it? And she was like, I have dementia. But God put me in this position to be a servant for his kingdom. I never knew that Pat's faith was that strong. But right after that, you best believe I was by her side, and I've been by her side. And when I would come in town, I'd go by and she'd say, hey, stay for a few hours. We got Bible study coming up. When you have somebody in your life especially a coach, but sometimes it's not always the coach. Because if you look along this wall and all these student athletes that are a part of FCA, those are our leaders on these teams. In between my sophomore and junior year in college, I remember walking, and I was walking across campus, and I saw a young man that was crutching. We had Gibbs Hall, that's where all the athletes ate, that's where, got to be 50, 51, or 51, 49, something like that, but that's where all the athletes ate. And I remember watching, and he was crutching, he had his backpack, and he was struggling a little bit. So I ran over, I'm like, hey, can I help you? He was like, oh man, if you can take my backpack, that would be awesome. So I took his backpack and we crossed the street. And I'm going to give him his backpack back. He's going to the hall, I don't know where I was going. And so we got to talking, and I was like, oh, you good? He was like, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe go back to the dorm, I don't know. He's like, well, why don't you come with me? And I don't know about you guys, but my mom told me not to talk to strangers. I already took one risk, but now he wants me to go with him. So I was like, well, where are you going? He said, just come. So I was like, oh, okay. So I'm like, all right. He got crutches. Worst case scenario, I just kick one and keep running, right? No, I'm just playing, So we go in this room, and there's all these athletes sitting in there. Not all, probably about 15, 20. I'm like, what are we doing in here? That was my first introduction to FCA. And I'm talking about athletes from athletes from all of the sports were represented. All the top sports were represented at that time. And I remember sitting there, and I'm just looking around, and they're talking about God. And I was just looking because I was amazed. I had never been a part of FCA, I had never heard of FCA, didn't even know FCA existed. But it gave me a platform. It gave me somewhere that I could go, that I could tell my teammates, hey, let's go to FCA, come check it out. But it's crazy because probably a few weeks after that, I was driving in Knoxville, and I saw this big billboard. And randomly, how many times do we drive by billboards and you look up? How often do you really pay attention? But this billboard, it caught my eye. And it was this guy. There was a guest speaker coming to this church I had never been to, but it caught my eye. And I came back, and we came in as the Fab Four. There was 4 of us: Tamika Randall, Teresa Jeter, H. Clement, Kristen Clement, and myself. And I came back, and I was like, hey, yeah, I saw this sign, like, I feel like we should go. I don't know what it is about it, but it seemed like really, really cool. And so they were like, okay. So we go to this church. They're having a revival. We go to church, and the topic is, who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? And I said, okay. His name was Ken Johnson, Pastor Ken. And he proceeded to talk about your Heavenly Father. We all have earthly fathers. We all have people here on earth. But see, the 4 of us, we all had different relationships with our dads. My mom and dad had gotten divorced. One of my teammates, her dad had never been around. The other one hadn't seen her dad since she was in 3rd grade. And then the 4th one, her dad was our dad, because he was always in Knoxville. By the end of the sermon, we were all crying. We all grew up in the church. We all had to go to church. If you didn't go to church on Sunday, you didn't do anything else for the rest of the week. Ooh, pressure. So we'd be in church writing notes, passing candy. What you got? What you got in your bag? But that's what church was for us. Because it was something that was forced. It was something that we had to do in order to be able to get out of the house for the rest of the week. But in that one sermon, we all learned about our Heavenly Father. And we all walked up to the front and accepted Christ again. Because we had done it earlier, because it looked good. But at that point, we did it because that was the right move. We felt him. We felt his presence. We wanted a relationship. We led each other at that point because we all knew, hey, we're in this together. And I wish, now that I'm standing here, I wish that I had known how strong Pat's faith was. But I do think that maybe for me, I would have realized how important it was from the beginning. How getting to college wasn't just being able to get away from my mom and do whatever I want to do. And not having to go to church on Sunday just so that I'd be able to do everything. But we have an opportunity, all of us in this room. We're here. We're here because we want to make a difference. Because we want to be those positive role models. Because we want to be those positive leaders. That's why we're here. You wouldn't be in this room if you weren't one of those people that we're talking about. And not just being there, but really being there. The third thing, bring your skills to the table. I think we talked about it earlier, talents. Right? We're good at something. We did something with our team. I got mad because we were losing. I'm not a sore loser, but I'm kind of a sore loser, if that makes sense. I don't like to lose very often. So we were losing, we lost a few games in a row. And so I went out and bought a puzzle, a little frozen puzzle. And I split all the pieces up in little Ziploc bags, and I gave them out to my teammates. And we sat in the locker room on the floor. And I said, let's make a puzzle. And they looked at me like, you're crazy. We don't do puzzles, and we definitely don't do frozen. I said, no, you gotta get it. You gotta understand it. Every single one of us in this room is amazing. But we're all a piece of the puzzle. And in that locker room, every single one of my teammates was a piece of that puzzle. Because when we started doing it, some people really got into it, and there were a few that left out their pieces. But check this out. When they left their pieces out, the puzzle wasn't complete. If you leave your piece out tonight, we don't complete the puzzle. We don't get the opportunity to continue to serve all the athletes that are in this room. They didn't get it, that with them not putting their piece in, nobody wants this puzzle without it complete. But when they finally brought in to what we were trying to accomplish, we completed that puzzle, right? Everybody's piece made the puzzle complete. And for all of us, even for myself, as I continue to go on my journey and continue to do the things that I do, my puzzle is still being completed. Because everywhere I go, I put one piece in. One piece here, one piece there, one piece over there, and put it in. And everybody in this room, you're putting your piece in. Whether it's financially, whether it's you being there, whether it's you being a leader, a mentor, whatever the case is, you got to put your piece of the puzzle to complete it. So tonight, we're all champions. It's not just me, it's all of us. And we're all on the same team because you know who we're playing for? Let me see. We're playing for him. And we're playing for his glory. My testimony is 1 out of 666. Ha-ha. I listen. 1 of 666. So that means there's 660, that's a hard word, pieces to complete this puzzle. And so I know coming up next, they're gonna have this big charge of what they need to complete the puzzle. I didn't have FCA in middle school. I didn't have FCA in high school. And I didn't learn about FCA until college. We have kids here, not kids, we have young men and women here that have had the opportunity to learn about it early. And in order to keep it going, we need people like you. We need everybody's puzzle piece to make sure that our charge continues, to make sure that our kingdom grows, and to make sure that his presence is always felt. We are all one team. So on the count of 3, we're gonna stand up, get your minds right, and then we're gonna say, what? I love it. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're gonna try it one more time. Stand, stay up, stay up. But instead of saying, just I am a champion, we're gonna say, I am a champion for Christ. And we're gonna say, woo woo! And then we're gonna clap, because that's the best way to get a standing ovation. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
I am a champion for Christ.
Woo! Thank you. God bless.